able to now. Let me figure it out where I kept it. See, and documents. Okay, that should be here. Okay, in the meantime, did anybody tried something, found something on that? What you were discussing about last week? If you guys don't remember, then I'll have to find what we were doing. 5/24, 2024. Okay, so let me open the extension, but go ahead.
No, I haven't get chance to do it.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we were trying to do. We were unintentionally went into the domain of looking into performance optimized code, and I don't consider myself expert in it, but we were trying something, and this seems empty. Why? Okay, maybe this one. Okay, not this one. This should have it, but this doesn't seem to have it. Okay. Somebody had a question last week around the keys and all, and I forgot who had that question. Somebody was saying something about the keys and all. Do you guys remember who was that? Nobody?
I don't remember her name, but he says like we could change the primary key or current key.
Yeah, we can
Current
change
key.
the key, and
Yeah,
and
key
I
to
guess
that
I made
that
a
field
note of it.
itself.
Yeah, and I surely lost that extension. 5/24. No, I was looking for data cleanup, demo next, not this one. Okay. Okay, but let's leave that. So what I've done for this one, as we were talking about just 10 minutes ago, I was trying to do it and still running, I guess. So I created a custom table altogether with these many records, and then the other table is popping up because I didn't want it to miss out on opportunity to test keys, adding keys, and things like that. And then, if you remember, we were briefly talking about the partial load, correct? Abhinash, you were there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in this table, and the line table is not yet loaded, so I'll park it for a while. There are some random data that's being added on different type of fields that I have added into it, and we'll use it for our demonstration purpose or testing purposes to kind of understand. So there are text fields, there are decimal field, there are code fields, date fields, booleans, lookup fields, and then the base Microsoft system fields. And in summary, what this is coming from is there is this extension, and we don't have to deal with this extension. In summary, it's a set of a table where there are these fields, as you saw, and then using job queues, I kind of imported some random data into it. And if you would like to see that code, that's here. So it kind of generates a random data into that table when this gets initialized. So there's a good amount of data into this. Now, what you are going to do, and specifically for what do you call that? Partial load. Let's create a table extension on this table so that we can analyze the performance from multiple or impact of table extension into it. So let's add a new table extension, or let me first, we'll have to add a dependency of this extension. Okay, this is pointing to sandbox. Okay, and I should be good here. Let me pick up the dependency from here, which becomes ID, name, publisher, and version, right? And have we ever talked about this property, or does everybody know what these different properties means? If there's a confusion, let me know. Only then we'll talk about it. Okay, so I'm just taking the dependency on one of the extension that I have built, and that will require to kind of modify that extension. I'll have to download the symbols of it, which now will get downloaded, which is here. So now I have access to the table that I've created. In this particular one, what we are going to do is we are going to add a field and then test it out. Okay, sounds fair. Let's use AZAL extension, create a table extension, and this time let me use 60,000. And let's see, SDH demo header extension. Okay, let's do finish and let's quickly add a field. SDH LLC code or anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to show you on the partial load, we'll just need a field. Okay. Now, what's missing on app.json? I guess the property is not set correctly. So let me make it 60,000. All right. So we have a table extension, which is trying to extend a table from our earlier extension that we have built. I'll just quickly try to publish this so that it's also available in the environment here. And then we'll try to query the data. All right. Thanks, Kanan, for adding your message in the chat. But I would like it to be a little bit interactive while we're kind of dealing with this.
Actually, I was my page is noisy. That's why I just typed my dependency.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So now our main extension and the dependent extension both are there. Correct. Now let's pick an example, and if you have a better example to think about it, we'll deal with it. The primary key of this table is entry number, obviously. And then just for a demo, if I want to sum up the amounts for, let's say, entry number 1 to 100, let's try to write that code and see what happens. And you guys need to help me. I'm not that good in the coding, so help me wherever possible. So I'll do it on a page extension so that we can add an action. Okay. So it is trying to again extend the demos page. There is a list page associated with it, and this is demo extension. Okay. In this, let's quickly add an action. Okay, and this is, let's say, test code. Okay, add last into what area? Let's say processing. Okay, and then let's be with it. Okay. Caption, we'll need that. Test code. Anything else that I need? I don't think so. Okay. Let me also do this on at last into promoted area. And if you guys don't know about the promoted area, let me know. The action ref, and the action is called test code ref, and this is the action name, and that's it. Okay, in this we will quickly call a code unit where we'll write our code. Anytime I'm moving fast, stop me there. Okay. Okay. So let's create a procedure and help me here. Okay. So this is, let's say, calculate sum of first 100 amounts. Okay. Our table is demo header, which is this. Okay. Now, what should I be doing? If I'm doing something wrong, stop me. Okay. Demo header dot set range, entry number 1 to 100. If demo header dot find set, then, and this is the Copilot AI, which is kind of sometimes goes a little bit wrong. Okay. Total amount is equals to total amount plus demo header dot amount as an amount field, guys. Okay. Okay. Anything wrong in this? Anyone? And please feel free if you think there is anything wrong.
Everything seems okay.
That seems okay.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying something else other than Kanan? I'll have to change this to global so that I can call it from the page extension. And here, let's create a variable of test code. Okay, it should be returning something so that I can show it to you guys. So let's say it's a decimal, and the decimal that it returns is total amount. So let's just place it from here to here. Okay, and then I'll put a message wrapping this so that I can see the value that's calculated. And I'm moving fast because I'm hoping everyone knows about it. Okay, sounds good. Now let's quickly go back and understand what we talked about in the last meeting. And people who were not there in the last meeting, if it is not making sense or you're kind of losing context of it, go back to the YouTube channel and watch the previous video. We went into a little bit deep into how the data is stored and how we should be doing a performance optimized code if we can. Okay, so let's focus on this code. What we are doing is we are saying on the demo header table, and in the last time when we were looking at it, we were looking at customer table, if I'm not wrong, or sales header table. So I'll again open the sales header table in SQL Server because we have that flexibility as of today, at least on-prem. Okay, and let me pop up this window on my screen. All right. So let's assume that this code is written on a sales header table where you are also trying to calculate the sum of it. What does the set range does? Let's talk about it. Anyone?
Like it filter up to like 100, like select top 100 on that
It
entry number.
filters like these, right?
Mhm.
The rows from a rows context. And then this find set will kind of have a cursor which will move from the first record that is a result with this find set and go to the last record till the last record, because we have written next is equals to 0 till it finds the last record, which is the 100th record. It'll keep going the cursor one by one, and for every line it'll add the value of the amount column into the total amount. So if you remember last time we talked about this table, the set range, the set filters, or whatever you do is always concerned about the rows. But if you look at the number of columns that you have, how many columns we need to execute this code from this table? Anyone?
I think 1 or 2.
2, right? One is the entry
Yeah.
number where we are filtering something. And if we kind of skip this to calculate the total amount, we are just pointing and looking for one column, not this huge list of all the columns that are available in the table. Now, when I'm talking about table, remember one more thing, that in the Business Central model, the AL model, you cannot define how many columns the table will have, because that is directly dependent on the current state of your environment. You might have one extension modifying your base Microsoft or your custom table, or you might have 100 extension adding fields into the same Microsoft table. So how many fields you have from a columns perspective, you will never know, or you can't be 100% sure at a given moment of time. It is not NAV that I can go and say, okay, in my sales center table, there are 200 fields and that's it. It's super flexible in the AL model to have more field added as the extensions get installed, or field removed when the extension gets removed from your environment. So at any given point of time, your customer says, oh, can you tell me how many fields I have on customer table? You will have to kind of recount, if that makes sense, at that moment. And that answer is true till the point nothing changes on environment, or especially an extension. Now, for all these years in NAV, we never cared about columns and we never talked about it. But let's try to debug this code and see what happens, because that's where everything is hidden. Okay. So help me, and you just have to take bets. You don't have to be true or incorrect over this. You're just taking bets on it. What query will be generated when the cursor reaches to this point, which is demo header.findset? Okay, remember, demo header is a table on a separate extension altogether, and in the extension that I'm publishing right now, there is already a table extension associated with the demo header table. So think about the SQL statement, because eventually there will be a SQL statement to execute that find set in SQL. So what would be that SQL statement? Go ahead.
Select top 100 or select from this to this. But
okay,
all the column will be selected.
Anyone else want to take a bet on it? And that's okay. It's a bet. It can be completely wrong. And that's okay. While this is publishing, I forgot to debug. Go ahead, Karan.
I'm not so well versed. So I don't want to try.
Okay.
Narrating SQL queries.
Okay, so let's see on debugger what happens now. Come on. Okay. So here is the demo page. We see the text code action. We see top 100 records, and let's hit the test code, which should initiate my debugger. Here it is. All right. So let's look in here and look at the local variable. Demo header at this moment is not initialized, so it's empty. Now I'm trying to say pick up records for entry number where between 1 and 100. So this line of code will apply a filter on demo header, which is entry number 1 to 100. So far so good. That's what I expected. And we only have one bet, I guess, from Avinash. So let's see what happens when this line of code gets executed, which is find set. So as we run into this command, it did find the first record, which is the entry number 1, and then we'll keep doing it as the repeat until will start. But we sometimes forgot to see some interesting data in the debugger, which is on database statistics. So let's pay a little bit focus into it. Number of SQL executes 140, row read 219. That's okay. And then expand this. Here you see all the SQL queries that are being executed when you are running this. And here debugger, don't die in the middle. But let's see. Select top one from user that's not related to this code. Timestamp, not related. 90,000. Now this seems related to this table, but let's see. 90,000. Anything else? The same query altogether. Okay. All right. So let's pick this one. Now, if I have to see the whole query, anybody know how we can do that? If I have to see this whole query, because it kind of gets truncated here and I can't access it. No. You guys need to go and watch the debugging video, but you can actually use this area to type in what you want to see. Okay. Here it is, your statement. And then I can just copy paste this into a notepad. Let me try with the notepad. Okay, so let's see what that becomes, that query becomes. And I should be able to open this. Yeah. Okay. So what it says select top 90,000, entry number, amount, suggested date, currency code, customer number, system ID, system created at, system modified at, from the database name. And let me know if it is not readable. I might place it here on a VS Code window so that it's more readable. Okay. Let me create a new file. Text file. Okay. Yeah. And let me try to. I can't format it, which is weird. Okay. Well, let me try to zoom this in.
Yeah,
Plus.
you need to be on SQL.
Oh, I need to be on SQL. Okay, let's go
I
into
mean
SQL.
that statement.sql.
Oh, I can have the file name as SQL. Okay.
Yeah, like extension need to be there, like statement.sql. Or I mean
Okay.
that file name should be.
That's not SQL. Okay. There's no SQL. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Okay. Now it looks good. Okay. Let's spend a little bit time into this. What it is doing, it is saying top not 100 Avinash, but it is trying to pass a parameter. Then these are the fields on the table, and we'll try to match it to our table design. And then keep in mind, this is just a demo table with a little bit of fields. But then these are the fields that it is trying to select. Okay. So here it is from this Cronus demo header. This is the table name with read-only order by statement. What it is doing, it is trying to kind of fetch all the fields at this moment. Right? Or let's see what else statement we have. Let's try SQL 3. Or maybe last one. Does SQL 9 have something? No, this is something else. SQL 8. Yeah, let's try SQL 8. Okay. No, SQL 8 I have not, nothing. SQL 7. No. Okay. SQL 6. SQL 5. Mhm. What's happening here? Let's try to run this. Okay, now it's in SQL 0, I guess. Because that's just ran. Okay, let me copy this here. And let's write here what's happening here. Okay, so now the exact query is here. Once I executed the first loop. So it says select field timestamp, field entry number, field demo text 2, amount, number pattern, and I'll move it down, suggested date 2, demo boolean 2, currency code, okay, system ID, modified at, from this table. And here should be an interesting thing which I wanted to show it to you, which is this. Okay. Now the upper part of the query from line number 22 to 35 is your select star. Is that correct, everyone? Any confusion?
Yes.
This is select star on that table when you did a find set. But because we added a table extension to that particular table in a separate extension, the SQL had to do a forceful join on the table extension that I created and had to get the field from that using the primary key join to fetch the extra field that was needed. If it is a little bit confusing, stop me and then I'll proceed on it. Or did everybody understood what I was trying to do here? Okay, and this is that field which is just trying to fetch by using the join. Now think about if there is one Microsoft table which have 10 different extensions, how many joins will be created when you do a find set?
Wow.
10 different joins. Will that impact the performance of your code?
I think so.
Okay. So is there a way that we can increase the performance of this code where, remember, the whole intention of our code is to calculate the sum of amount field. We don't care about the extension field, which is the currency code. We don't care about any other field. And that is your partial load. How you can do that is using partial load. So let's stop this and see how you impact the partial load. Partial load is so simple to implement or so simple to miss that sometimes you might miss it directly.
Saurabh,
Remember, yeah.
One thing just wanted to ask. I mean, this is the result of a find set that we do in a set range of records, the range of records, right? What if we do a set range and then the cal system? Will it alter the same SQL query or a different one?
Let's talk about it separately, but yeah, as in the next meeting maybe. But Kelsey field operates in a completely different domain. So Kelsey
Cal system.
For Kelsey sum, you also need to specify the key that you are using, right? And then because your Kelsey sum happens based on a key when you associate that
Right.
with a key, right? So then you specify the key, and when you do the Kelsey sum, yeah, that will be a separate query that goes. It is not part of this whole find set query.
Okay.
It's a separate SQL statement that goes to SQL to calculate that sum based on that key.
Okay.
So going forward, whenever you write find set, irrespective of if there is a set range or not, remember to use this simple command, which is demo header dot set load fields. Now set load fields helps you to specify what fields you will need to load before you want to start your repeat until. And we'll see the difference of it from a SQL perspective. So if while coding this, you didn't knew that what set load field you are using, and you might want to, let's pick a field, demo header dot amount 2 is also getting added to this, okay, on this total amount. The system will warn you that this field, as in not warn you, but there will be underline in a while, will tell you that this is missing in the set load field. You should add it into the set load field. So Microsoft is doing their bit, that if you are using the set load field before your find set, and if you are adding a new set of fields in your code, the system then shows you that there is a problem that you need to start adding that field also. But for the time being, let's keep the code as it is and see the behavioral change in the SQL query by just adding one single line of code, which is set load field. Okay. Now let's think about, and let's take random bets of what will happen when we debug this code.
I don't know about like set load fields, but it seems like just load one field or two field maybe, because one is already the primary key.
Anyone else taking any bets? And you can take bets on chat. That's okay. If you have a mic issue or something, you don't have to speak if that's the concern. Okay, so let's try that again. I forgot to run the debugger. Sorry guys, don't have a habit to run F5, but I'll try again. There's a whole Microsoft article about it. I have compared the impact of it pre BC 24 and also post BC 24. You might hear about some discussion that, oh yeah, it was relevant till BC 23, now it doesn't make sense. But believe me guys, it has a huge impact even in BC 24 and higher. So don't just eliminate it completely. Start utilizing what Microsoft is providing. So now let's click the same button again. The code remains same, and we'll again focus on the SQL statement that will get generated. Remember, we still have the table extension. Okay, let's come into it. Let's load the field. Let's go in, let it run for the first time so that we can go back and see what happens on my database Datatext here. Not this one. Okay, not this one. Where it went? Oh, no. Okay, here it is. SQL 5. Okay, so let's look at SQL 5. Let's copy SQL 5 statement. Let's go back to our another tab and let's paste it here. This is not the query. This is always confusing. So let's run it one more time. Okay, so now it should get updated on SQL 0, hopefully. No, it's still not updated, reflected here. SQL 3 is the latest one. So let's see. Okay, and let's paste it in here. Okay, so this time it is fetching the timestamp. Okay, it is fetching the primary key, as Avinash said. Then the next field that you see it's fetching is amount, and then it is doing some random fields also. But let's come down here at the end because that's where it gets a little bit interesting. Here. And then it surely will add all the system related field because those get updated if you modify or insert a record. It did choose the primary key, which is needed. It will choose timestamp always. Then there is a random set of fields that it chooses based on dependencies on those fields. I'm not exactly sure why these fields were selected, but then your field is surely there. But the interesting part is it did not create a join with the table extension. It has no join with the table extension, and instead of fetching all these fields, it chose a set of fields which are part of the fetch. So what will happen if in my code I'm using that setup field, or sorry, extension field? What will happen in that case? If in my code, if I modify it in a way that I need the field from the extension. Any guesses on that? Well, I actually copied this. This seems correct. Yeah, that's the same set of command. No join, and it is ordering by with this.
Maybe join, it will give us the join because particularly when we are just doing that amount or like our last statement at that time, we are just using the field from just the main table, but yeah, now we are like doing the extension also query to the, sorry, what is called, yeah, also trying to get a field from extension. Maybe join will be API.
So if assume if your main table have 10 different extensions which are modifying or adding fields into your table, if in your code within the repeat until you are utilizing a field from an extension table, only one join will be created, not 10 joins. So it'll only join those tables and table extension where the field is. Now in if you are on BC24 and higher, that problem is a little bit solved because there is only one companion table for all custom field from a Microsoft perspective and your table perspective. But still, the join will only fetch the set of fields that are needed for your code to execute rather than fetching the whole list of field. Okay, do we want to test the performance of this code from a time perspective?
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see.
Like what is the changes?
Yeah, so let's remove this. Okay, and when we have a crazy number, why should I do a set range? I'll just let it run for all the records and see the total amount, right? Because system tracks the, what do you call that? Okay, start time is equals to what? Current date time. And then, okay, let it do as it is. I don't want to see the number. I may want to see the number. Okay. Okay, slash. This is how you do second line. I hope. I'm bad with that. Start time and end time. Oh, which is current date time. Okay. So it'll show me the current time, the end time, which will be the end time, and then the beginning time of this process, and then it'll also show me the sum of those numbers. Because system caches data, to be fair with the code, what I'll be doing is I'll be restarting the session so that there are no sessions available and anything that is cached is kind of removed. So I'll cancel all sessions. Okay. So nothing is cached at that moment. Okay. Because caching can kind of show you a better performance because the data is already loaded into the memory. But I will just kind of clean it up and then run it. Okay. So now we are doing a sum of all the fields, numeric fields into it. And then we would like to see what is the total value of the sum. And then also what was the start time and the end time of that process. Once that is run, we'll again cancel all the sessions, start a new session and test it out again. See how it works. Okay. So let's click on test code and it's working. Okay. So this took nearly nothing. And I can't even make out of any time difference of this. So maybe we need to choose a different field.
Duration. You can
Should I
check
do-
with the duration sort of.
Yeah,
In-
but with this kind of a short calculation, it doesn't.
That's where you'll get the duration in milliseconds.
Okay. Okay. I, I hate to say, but how I can slow down the code? As in, I just want to see the difference in a, in a way.
Yeah, I think it's then good to analyze the milliseconds, right? As he said.
Yeah, as he said, right? So let's try that.
Yeah, that you will get a feel of it.
So let's see here. Anubhav sir, you are saying current date time minus start time is what will give me the duration. Right, sir? This should generate the duration. Okay, now this one will run a little bit faster right now because the system have cached the process. So let's cancel this session. Come on. And also cancel the session. Almost time. Okay. Let's publish this again. Okay. So let's get into this. Okay, in this page, let's click on test code. And this takes 8 seconds and 155 milliseconds. Let's just copy these numbers somewhere. Maybe my notepad is a good place for this. Okay. Okay, let me cancel the session which is running. Refresh. Cancel this. While this is canceling, let's go back to the code and enable that line, which is set load field. Session cancelled. Let's do a publish again. Okay. Any bets? We know the numbers. Currently, it's 8 seconds, 155 milliseconds.
We are around 2 seconds.
Let's see. Oh, is the total correct? Let's see. Let's tell you this. The total is correct.
Yeah.
Just
It's
50,000
1
records. It's 8 times faster approximately. The environment is same. The data is same.
second.
The code is same. We just added one single line in our code. This line.
Yeah. Amazing.
Now there is no limitation if you're thinking that, oh, can I only add decimal or numeric field? You can even add text, code field, integer fields, decimal field, and any other field, because this is not utilizing the field info that you're adding here to decide does it need to be added or not. It is making sure that that field is part of your SQL statement rather than all the fields in that table. And that's why number of columns that are returned by your query that you're writing have a huge impact on the code performance that you're writing. So it may sound lame that, okay, for all these years I've been NAV developer, nobody talked about add how many columns being loaded. How does that make difference? It may not make difference in the NAV word because there were no joins, and I'm pretty sure it would have been impact in NAV word, but there was nothing back then. But now when you have it, utilize it. Any
Yeah.
questions on it?
No, it is, incredible to know.
Yeah. Because right now I am mostly working on performance. So this is a very good one.
Okay. Now let's see some other field. Um, let's see. I want to do the addition of all the text or concatenation of the text string that's available in that table. Help me with the code. Concatenate all strings. Okay. Let's create the same variable here for the demo header. Let's not do anything at this point, and let's copy this as it is. Okay. Here, I would like to get a text output. So I'll say return text of type text. Okay. And then the return text. How should I concatenate the text column in the table? I want to add all the values that are stored in this text column into one single column called return text. Help me, guys. How I do that?
You can directly put a plus to it, or you can use substring number for that as well.
Okay, so I can do something like this, right? Plus demo header dot whatever the field is, which is demo text.
Demo text, yeah.
Just this. Okay. Any objections to this code? Anyone? Go ahead. That's okay if you have.
There will be no space, but
That's okay. We're just
Yeah.
testing out
Okay.
common code scenarios that we write. So it doesn't matter, you know. I don't care about the output at this point. I guess that's what I'm saying. But yeah, anyone else have any suggestions on that?
Or you can use copy string as well.
Okay, let's keep this as it is. Copy string. Okay, so I can do the return text and what copy string.
Copy string, return text,
Okay.
copy string. comma 1, comma.
But that will give me what?
But first, I mean, you have to just use a counter something so that you can get a first return value over there, and then you just need to repeat the counter. I mean,
Then copy
anyways,
string is to get the substring from it, right?
yeah,
Copy is a substring of it. So that doesn't work. But okay. Anyone else have any thoughts? Go ahead.
I think for now, let's just go with that one. Maybe we could use like strings or something. Like, I don't remember the function, but yeah, let's try with this. So
Okay.
excited to see.
Okay. So we'll call this from here. We don't want to see the output of it for sure, but I'll have to kind of pass this as it is. What is this? Due to protection label. Okay, my protection label is local, so sorry for that. Okay, I don't want to see the output of it for sure, as you know, makes sense, right? So I'll just pass the timing here. I don't care about the percentage too. So I'm calling this, and I'm just trying to get the response out of it of how much time it takes to do this. We have not used any funky code at this moment. We're just trying to do concatenation of all the text variables that are stored or the values that are stored in this particular table. Okay. So let's do the same thing. As in, I don't think that there is any cached record for the text field because there's nothing that we have done, and there seems no session. Oh, okay. This whole got reset, it seems, but that's okay. Okay, so let's try publishing this. There are no sessions at this moment, so it's a fresh code. And let's see what happens. Oh, this is old, so let me kill this. 7-minute old. So how much time, guys? I'm just adding all the text string. We do it all the time. Yeah. Oh, add all this. Make me in beautiful email messages. My customer will add the body content into a table row by row. You just need to concatenate all those and put it into an email body or somewhere else. That's a very common requirement here and there. Still bets are on because it's still trying to add all the string.
Hopefully, it will not time out.
Let's see, that's the beauty of it, right? You can test it out things very simply to see how or what I'm doing wrong. You don't have to wait for a performance problem to come, because then it gets a little bit messier with the performance problem to analyze what data is being handled. You can't make changes directly without verifying that nothing breaks at that moment. Okay, will the partial load will help in this case? First question. Is there a better way to do this? Second question. Did I choose the wrong field? I'm just adding, guys. I'm just adding text. How many? 50,000 records? So much of time? Doesn't make any sense. But while this is happening, because it'll take hopefully some time, let's try for our part 2 of the code.
Maybe because that text the length is getting increased, that's why the memory is getting consumed and system is taking time.
Yeah, but text is open, right? You can put anything on it.
Yeah.
There's no limited to it. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to try is maybe do the set load field. Or before we do that, how many of you have heard about a new data type called text builder?
Haven't used.
No.
Heard it here and there?
Yeah,
No.
heard it.
Never heard it.
Heard it before, but I haven't used it.
Okay, this is my text builder, and this is called text builder. All your text operations that you do, you should be start utilizing the power that's available with the .NET component, which is baked in as a data type or as a in Business Central. Let's see what it allows you to do. So your text builder have so many things. It does allow you to append, which is just keep adding things into it. It does allow you to append line. So if you are doing things line by line, you can utilize this. You can check the capacity of it, you can clear it, you can insert into it, get the length of it, remove things from it, replace, and then convert it to a text if needed. So when I have to add things into it, I can just use append. The append will allow me to add text into it. Appends a copy of the specified string into the text builder instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to utilize this to do my text edition of this field. Okay. And then I surely need a response into text from my text builder. So there should be a toText, which then converts the value of this text builder to a text. And that is returned from it. So you need to specify your return text as the value of it. So the first line will keep adding things into a .NET, mimicking .NET data type. And then the second line will just convert that and give it onto a text variable. So, oh man, it's taking a hell lot of time. We might have to reduce the filter. Let's do it for first 100. Okay, yeah, let's do it for first 100. We don't want to waste all our time into it. So I'll run the old code again, but this time only for first 100 records. Do I do a set range? Let's do a set range 1 to 100. Okay. I'll comment the new one. I'll keep the old one so that we can see what's happening. Hopefully the session is killed. Yes, gone. Okay, let's try it again. I hope nobody minds going 5 minutes extra. Let's just complete this and then we'll continue these conversations if you guys need it in the future sessions.
Go ahead. It's very interesting.
No problem.
Okay, here we are. Let's get into the demo. Let's click on test code. This time it happened in 19 milliseconds. Still took 19 milliseconds. Okay, let's keep it in our log and let's try doing it the other way around and see is it a little bit faster or not. Or is it even faster or not? Okay, let's cancel this. And let's cancel this. Okay. This time, let's enable this, and disable this. Normally, you see the performance impact where there is a big size of data set. A smaller size, I normally doubt you'll see a huge difference, but let's give it a try. Okay, come on, get loaded. Okay, demo. And let's use the test code. Oh, is that how much time it took? More time.
Saurabh,
took a little
that assignment has to be done after the repeat into loop.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. See, correct me wherever I'm wrong. I keep repeating it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You should assign the result at the end of it. You can't do it as it's going. Thank you, man. Let's see. Okay, let's do the cancel here. And guys, if you're going to do performance going forward, you need to correct me wherever I'm wrong. And I'm wrong so many places. Okay. I'm not writing this code for my customer at this moment. So I have a flex to be wrong here and there. Okay. So with enough suggestions, we just move that out. And now we'll see what happens. Otherwise, we'll increase the data set. It took the same amount of time, 29 milliseconds. Oh, this time it happened fast because there's no sessions to it. Let me increase the time, sorry, number of records into it, because that surely will help. Okay, let's make it 1,000. Or let's make it 2,000. I have a lot of records. Let's make it 6,000. At least then there will be an impact on performance. Okay, while we are waiting for this, let me ask you a question. How many of us think that the length of our code unit have an impact on performance? And I'm just saying length. 500 lines of code unit, 1,000 lines of code unit. Will there be an impact?
I don't think so. Better.
Okay, Karan, let's see on the next meeting. Okay, so this one with 6,000 records took 187 millisecond. Just give me a moment. Okay, now they have the key. Okay, so this took 187 millisecond. And now I'm going to remove the code and go back to the old code and see what happens there. Okay, cancel this. Let's come back here. Let's comment this. Let's enable this and let's comment this line of code. Okay, the number of record remains same. The number of records that are being processed with this will be exactly same. And we'll spend some time next week on understanding the length of our code. Okay, let me give you more context to think about before we meet next week. Does number of subscribers to a code to an event will have an impact on performance? So here's the difference, guys. This was 6,000 record. Our legacy old style code took 1 second and 355 millisecond, whereas your text builder only took 187 millisecond when we were running this. Questions, thoughts?
Very interesting. Actually, do some
Yeah.
playing around.
And we haven't yet used the set load field, guys.
That's
Want to see the
another,
impact of it?
Yeah.
Let's see. We need the demo text and we'll use the new way. Okay. Let me clear out the session so that no caching is available at that moment. Okay, so let's run this through. We just added a set load field and we are using the text builder, not the legacy concatenation of the field. Now set load field is again going to save you time because it is not going to do a join while trying to do the find set. Hopefully it reduces the further time into it. Oh, done. Let's go back here. So a legacy query or a legacy code. So when people say upgrade our code as it is, that is not something that you should be doing when you are upgrading to Business Central. And these are just two examples of it. We'll see others going forward in other meetings. But you need to start looking at that code, even if it is compiling. Because technically speaking, I saw a meme on LinkedIn that if my code compiles, I'm not going to touch it. You should be touching it. There's still a lot of areas of improvement in our legacy NAV code. Just because it compiles, it doesn't mean it will give the performance that customer is expecting out of it. And these are smaller, minor fixes on your code. I'm not changing the functionality of or the behavior of the code that we have written. We're just trying to tweak it with the latest options that are available with AL and Business Central to have it more performance optimized. So are there any other questions? I guess no. So let's choose.
This
Yeah.
one is from which version? This set load data. Set load fields.
Set load fields is available from version 19, if I'm not wrong, 18 or
Oh,
19.
good. I want it for
Right.
21. I'm going to try. Yeah.
So I'll see you guys then next week, and
Yeah,
we'll figure
sure.
out what is the impact of the code unit length and what is the impact of number of subscriber to an event. Is there an impact or not? And then Abhinav, we might see the flow field calculation and calc sums if needed. Calc sums. Okay,
Okay.
I'll leave you guys
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank
Hello.
you. Bye.
Thanks, man.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Bye. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
You can stop recording, Saurabh.
Okay, yeah, I'll just stop the recording and then you and me can chat about things. Thank you.
Mhm.
Stop. Wait a minute.